What's up guys, Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to go over my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL wildcard picks. Alright, so before we move on to the wildcard picks, let's take a look back at my Week 17 picks. I gave out my picks via email this past week, and I had 5 picks. You can see there, 3 of them on the left were very solid. Mark Ingram with 28 points, Golden Tate with 20, and Kyle Rudolph with 31 points. And then a couple bad picks, Russell Wilson with 14, and Redskins D with just 5 points. And I also emailed out some extra picks, including Zach Ertz, who is the highest scoring player at DraftKings on the week. So if you're not signed up for my email updates, make sure you click on that DFS email link in the YouTube description below. And then like always, I want to give a shout out to some people who emailed me or left me YouTube comments or tweeted at me that did well on DraftKings or FanDuel. This past week on the left-hand side there, you can see we had my Emain 2, I don't know how to pronounce that, but he won $100 on one lineup in the Millie Maker. And then on the right-hand side there, Paul from Twitter tweeted at me. He said it took 16 weeks, but he finally came first in a $3 GPP, and he won $500. So congrats, Paul. Congrats to everyone else who emailed me or tweeted at me or left YouTube comments that I didn't mention. And if you didn't win this past week, hopefully this week is your week. And if you haven't already seen it, head on over to the Sports Geek. I'll also leave a link in the YouTube description below to this article. It's basically breaking down the Week 17 Wildcard Championship. So we look at some of the guys who max entered, take a look at their finishes, and take a look at their exposures and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of an interesting article. I know a lot of people like it. If you haven't already seen it, check out the link in the YouTube description below. All right, so on to my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL wildcard picks. I'm going to be giving out a couple lower owned players that I like, and didn't really want to state the obvious picks like Rodgers or Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell. So I'm going to try to give out some other picks that I'll be using as well. So here we got a quarterback wide receiver stack. Eli Manning to Odell Beckham. Eli is 6,100. Odell is 9,100. The Giants are in Green Bay as 4.5 point underdogs, and we've got a total at 44.5 points. The Packers rank 22nd in yards against per game and 31st in passing yards against per attempt. And if you look at their past 3 games, the Packers have given up over 300 yards to the opposing quarterback in each of them. Stafford had 347 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bradford with 382 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Barkley with 362 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I don't expect this game to be too high scoring. I don't expect it to be a shootout like those past 3 games. But I do think that Green Bay can put up some points and will put up some points. And Eli Manning will be forced to throw a little bit. And I think he should be able to kind of pick apart this secondary that's been pretty bad for Green Bay. So I think at 6,100, he makes a good play. And then obviously Odell Beckham at 9,100. If you look at his game log there, he's got elite upside. He's gotten 20 targets in a game. You can see there 16 targets. He's put up 44 DraftKings points this year already. Multiple games over 20 DraftKings points. Not much else to say about him. You guys know that he's an elite fantasy scorer. Him and Antonio Brown might be the highest owned more expensive receivers, but I think Odell Beckham would be a great stack with Eli Manning if you want to go a bit cheaper at quarterback. Next up here, we got a running back, Zach Zenner from the Lions. He's $4,500 on DraftKings. The Lions are in Seattle as 8-point underdogs with a total at 43.5 points. And if I were to bet on this total, I'd probably take the over. I think there is going to be some fantasy points scored in this game. Zach Zenner doesn't have a great matchup versus the Seahawks, who are 7th in rushing yards against per game. But Zenner looks to be a 3-down back, getting all of the touches for Detroit last week. And on this 4-game slate, there's not many running backs that do get a majority of their team's carries. There's a lot of running back by committees. There's a lot of question marks. We've got Ajayi injured. We've got Lamar Miller coming off an injury. So I think besides Le'Veon Bell, Zach Zenner might be the safest play. So this is kind of more of a cash game play in my opinion. I might reduce ownership a little bit in GPPs. If I was playing cash games, I'd probably have 100% Zach Zenner. GPPs, I might try to fade him a little bit because I do think he will be high owned. You can see his game log the last 2 games, 21 and 23 DraftKings points. Those are basically the only 2 games where he's had a large majority of the snaps and touches, and he's put up some good scores. So at 4,500, I do think he will be high owned, but I do think he makes a great cash game. GPPs, it's kind of up in the air. Depending on roster construction, I might try to fade him a little bit just because of the ownership. Wide receiver here, we got DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans, 6,700 on DraftKings. The Texans are at home Saturday afternoon versus the Raiders as 3.5 point favorites. There is a low total in this game at 37 points, but the Texans do have the 4th highest implied team totals. Don't let that low total scare you away completely from this game. I wouldn't have too much exposure to it, I don't think. But the Texans are still expected to score around 3 touchdowns in this game. So I think DeAndre Hopkins at 6,700 makes a good play. You can see his recent game log there, 22 DraftKings points in his final game of the season. And 4 of his last 6 games, he had 10 or more DraftKings points. Tons of targets in a lot of those games. You can see there 10, 17, 11 targets. So it's kind of a risky play. He hasn't done much all season, but we know what kind of receiver he is. And if he gets the ball thrown to him quite a bit, you can see there anytime he's gotten 10 or more targets, he's put up at least 12 DraftKings points. So I think he could go off for a big game against the Raiders. The Raiders rank 24th in passing yards against per game and dead last in passing yards against per attempt. My last pick here is tight end Ladarius Green from the Steelers. He's $4,500 on DraftKings. The Steelers are at home versus the Dolphins as 10-point favorites. We've got a total at 45.5 points, and Pittsburgh has the highest implied team total at 27.8 points. So Ladarius Green has missed the last 2 games with a concussion, but it looks like he's been practicing in full quite a bit. But we definitely want to watch to make sure he's cleared and expected to be in for the majority of the snaps. But I think he will be, and I think he makes a great play. You can see there he had basically 3 games with the Steelers this year, 3 full games where he was healthy. And in those games, he got 11, 6, and 8 targets. He put up 26, 4, and 12 DraftKings points. The Dolphins were 25th in DraftKings points against the tight ends, which is the 2nd best tight end matchup on this wildcard slate. So as long as we get word that Ladarius Green will be playing and he's not really limited or anything, I think he makes a great play at 4,500. So that wraps up my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL wildcard picks. If you want to win more money at Daily Fantasy Sports, I highly recommend you sign up for Fantasy Labs. I'll leave a link to Fantasy Labs in the YouTube description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please click that like or thumbs up button. It'll help support my YouTube channel and let me know that you guys want me to keep making videos like this. So as always, good luck this week. Hope you make some money. Cheers. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that I post, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To do that, just click on this button over here. Or if you want to watch another one of my videos that I think you'll enjoy, click on the video image over here.